listening to AM 1220 KDOW, the Bay Area's business leader. And welcome to Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy, helping you explore new marketing and social media trends that will give you that extra punch in your marketing strategy. Now, here's your host for Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy, Erica Taylor Montgomery.
Good morning and welcome to Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy. I'm your host, Erica Taylor Montgomery, and Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy is a show that covers everything you need to know to punch through your competition and deliver that total knockout when it comes to public relations, marketing, social media, branding, advertising, and so much more. I'm the founder and CEO of Three Girls Media and Marketing, Inc., which is a public relations and social media marketing agency that specializes in working with companies in all industries with very cost-effective solutions. You can find us online at threegirlsmedia.com. That's threegirlsmedia.com. And we are live this morning and we'll be able to take your calls throughout the hour. Thanks so much for joining me. We've got another great show for you today. In round one, we're going to be talking to a branding expert about how to build your brand. What exactly is your brand and how can it make you money? And then in round two of Punch today, we're going to be talking with a marketing pro about online marketing 101. What skills do you need to have to become a great online marketer? And exactly how much importance do you need to put on things like keywords and SEO? We're going to find out this morning. And you can find the full lineup of upcoming guests as well as the archives of Punch online at punchmarketing.biz. That's punchmarketing.biz. I've got a couple of really cool events coming up that I want to make sure I share with you. First of all, on October 17th from 10 a.m. to noon, I'm going to be doing a speaking engagement called Get More Exposure for Your Business. We're going to be covering 10 great free and low-cost public relations resources. And you know, PR is an absolutely critical component to promoting your business. And often I find that companies spend thousands of dollars on PR campaigns. But you would be surprised how much you can accomplish with just a few good tools that do not cost a penny, just a little time and effort. So in this presentation, I'm going to be sharing a wide variety of resources that can help your business grow. You're going to be learning about things like how to find out what stories hundreds of journalists across the country are working on so you can be a resource, an easy way to create video for your website that's also terrific for SEO, how to keep tabs on your competitors, how to save a lot of time and energy with your social media efforts, and so much more. So again, that's Get More Exposure for Your Business, 10 great free and low-cost public relations resources. And as an add-on to that, my good friend Jerry Bates of Fitting Sites, who's been a guest on Punch a couple of times, is also going to be sharing 7 essential WordPress plugins for your business. You know, one of the great features of WordPress is that it's such a powerful tool for business websites out of the box. But the really great thing about WordPress is how easy it is to make it even more powerful by adding the right plugins to your site. So Jerry's going to show you the top 7 plugins that he uses on every site he creates and how you can get them on your site too. So you get 2 topics in one presentation, the great free and low cost PR resources and 7 essential WordPress plugins for your business. That's Wednesday, October 17th, 10 to noon. And we're doing that in Campbell in the South Bay. And to register for that, it's very easy. You just go to webstrategycamp.com. Again, that's webstrategycamp.com to register for that event. All right, so let's dive right into round one of today's show, how to build your brand. Our guest is Ed Roach of The Branding Experts. And you know, Ed has been in the branding industry for 30 years, and he has worked extensively throughout the U.S. and Canada. He's also worked in Tanzania, which I find fascinating. He happens to be the lead writer at the Small Business Branding blog, and he's also the author of a book called The Reluctant Salesperson: An Introvert's Guide to Selling. Ed, welcome to Punch, Media and Marketing Made Easy.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad to be there. I'm really excited.
Terrific. Well, why don't we start with the absolute basics? Maybe you can explain what a brand is.
That's a great one. That's a typical one I get. And the biggest misconception with small business, and actually larger businesses as well, is they all believe that the brand is just their logo. And my biggest comment to that is it's not your logo. It's more than that. Their logo is just a piece of your brand. What I typically say is the brand equals your reputation. So what people think of you, your perception on the street, that's your brand, what position you have in their minds. That's what you should focus on. To focus on the logo would be absolutely wrong because I always say it's putting lipstick on a pig. If you have a problem with your business, and a lot of times people, when they want to rebrand, they think, well, all I have to do is change the logo, and essentially you've got to fix the problem. So the brand really is your reputation, and that works out very well. So it's no different, Erica, than let's take yourself. What people think of you on the street is your brand, and that's essentially what it's all about.
Right. It's not just the clothes I'm wearing. It's everything.
Exactly.
It's the whole package.
The whole package, exactly.
Right. And I think you're absolutely right that that is a major misconception. I hear that all the time. You know, I have a logo. That's my brand, right? And it really is so much more. It's everything all encompassing that helps you relate to your public.
That's right.
Hence it being part of public relations.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it's funny when I also talk to like small businesses, and let's say I'm talking about what I do with my consulting and that, and they'll say, you know, Ed, I don't need a brand right now. When I need one, I'll give you a call. And my answer quickly back is, well, you know, you've got a brand right now, whether you like one or not. It's up to you to choose to do something about it or to ignore it. And if you choose to ignore it, you're going to lose a lot. And that's a big deal. But branding today is, oh, man, I think you just mentioned it. It encompasses so much, but to ignore it is a huge, huge mistake.
I absolutely agree. You know, I think that anybody who's launching a business, entrepreneurs need to be acutely aware of branding and how they set that all up in advance of opening their doors. And if you've been in business for a while and you've never really paid much attention to what your brand is, it's never too late to go in and do some serious evaluation of that and really reinvent your brand or strengthen your brand to make sure that it's really working for you.
That's right. That's right, Erica, because let's face it, you want to define your own brand. The last thing you want is to have your competition define you for you, and they'll be glad to do it.
I'm sure they will, absolutely. But yes, it's much better if you have control of it yourself.
Yes, exactly, and it is possible.
Absolutely. So, you know, one of the things that all of our listeners are into is making money in their businesses. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how a brand can help companies make money.
Alrighty. This one is pretty straightforward in a sense. When I work with companies, for instance, the number one deliverable that comes out of conversation in my process is positioning strategy. And a lot of people, especially, let's say again, small businesses, we all go through a lot of hardships, and we're usually doing traditional marketing where we'll have, you know, a nice image and essentially a decent brand, and we have a fancy slogan, but a slogan is very motivational. It's inspirational type of thing, much like Nike's Just Do It. But they're not positioning themselves. So the positioning strategy is the number one deliverable that I come across. And this absolutely changes the perception of your brand and also brings business to your door. And if you don't mind, could I give you a really quick case history how this works?
Yeah, absolutely. We only have about a minute and a half until the break, but please go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. What I'll talk about first is a company I deal with who manufactures homeopathic pills, for instance. And in that industry, all of the sales guys are out there, and they're all out there selling, trying to get the big account, the big guy, the big order, so that it'll make their year. And in talking with them, I discovered this sort of a conversation. I said, guys, let me twist you around a little bit. What if you went after the little guy? Could you meet all your financial and personal goals for success by focusing on the little guy? And they all sort of looked at each other, and it was like an aha moment. They go, well, Ed, I think we really could. So essentially what we did was we took that thinking of going after the big account, twisted it around, and came up with a positioning strategy that was called the Leaders in Small Batch Oral Dose Manufacturing. So essentially what this does is it makes the message resonate with one audience, almost like a new audience. So if they happened to go to a trade show in Atlanta the next month, and they put up the booth, and all we said on the booth was Leader in Small Batch Oral Dose Manufacturing. Well, what happened was all the little guys who are normally ignored in that industry because they're just little orders, they all flocked to that booth because now somebody's talking to them directly instead of ignoring them. Their sales went through the roof. They had the best year they've had in 10 years, all because they repositioned their message to talk directly to a niche audience.
Fantastic. That is a perfect way of how you can make money with your brand if it's done right.
Exactly. It's all about resonating with your customer.
Absolutely. And when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about how you can build brand awareness of your brand, both online and off. That's coming up after the break. You're listening to Punch Media and Marketing Made Easy. I'm your host, Erica Taylor Montgomery, and this is 1220 AM KDOW.